welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck, where you have come to see real people doing real news. Today is going to be a very quick, fast-moving day. First of all, I just want to make one mention. We were scheduled to have a 45-minute show today because there were sports on after this. Unfortunately, due to COVID, that basketball game was canceled. So there again, what we've been preaching all week, it affects these kids in the worst ways. Anyway, one of the teams, I guess, had COVID, or someone had COVID. Everybody quarantines. Whether you're sick or not, you go hide. Anyway, and before we review the view, I have one other breaking news from yesterday, and this one is so infuriating. Okay, so last night at 10:23, I found on Facebook that People has named the person of the year. And would you believe, do you guys know who it is? It was Biden and Harris have been named person of the year. If you want to, okay, so I had Anthony help me a little bit on that. And so when I look at that, there's another photo I want to show because I think it is very important to touch on who I really think should be person of the year, and I think you're going to agree with me. Wouldn't these be people of the year? Totally. This is mass damage in our health care. These are the people on the front lines taking care of sick people. These are people of the year. I don't know what Biden and Harris have done yet. Maybe they're going to do amazing things if they ever get into administration, but they certainly haven't earned person of the year. To me, it just makes then what is it worth? I guess it just proves that you can be a loser, and because Harris hasn't, she was kicked out,
well, she dropped out before the primary.
So you can be a loser and still be a winner on People magazine.
It's actually time.
Oh, time. Sorry. You're right. You're right. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That's right.
You're a winner.
I'm a winner. We're all winning. Okay, so I'm Mary, and I'm joined today by Kendi, Renee, and Patty, of course. And so we're going to quickly get right into reviewing the view. One of the first things that they had brought up is the FDA is ready for releasing the vaccines. They say as early as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, these vaccines are going to be available, which is kind of crazy because already there's so many side effects. Kendi?
So it's true, because I actually have a friend who delivers for UPS, and he was contacted this week in regards to delivering the vaccine. So North Dakotans, be aware that it is coming, and it's coming to our state very soon. What I found interesting was I think we need to be very concerned about the vaccine, and they're not talking about it. It's just this big push about get the vaccine, and yeah, I feel very concerned over the push when it hasn't been studied.
Sure. Kendi, I just want to pop up a quick video right now. I just want you to hear one of the scenes from the view this morning. We're going to pop that up real quick.
Let's start on some good news. An FDA panel has given the okay to Pfizer's COVID vaccine, and Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar expects we're just days away from an emergency authorization. Take a look.
Just a little bit ago, the FDA informed Pfizer that they do intend to proceed towards an authorization for their vaccine. So in the next couple of days, probably, as we work to negotiate with Pfizer the information doctors need to prescribe it appropriately, we should be seeing the authorization of this first vaccine, and we'll, as you just said, we will work with Pfizer to get that shipped out, and so we could be seeing people getting vaccinated Monday, Tuesday of next week.
So isn't that a little bit scary?
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna toss this over to Renee because she found some evidence of why we might not want to have the vaccine right away. Here's a clip from what she found, or a photo, I should say. Nope, that's not the right one. It's the one about the 6 deaths.
And that's okay, because that will tell us one thing that we do want people to know, that all vaccine manufacturers are exempt from liability for injury and death, which is very concerning. Think about any industry that has no liability for their products. Imagine if the oil industry was not liable for their products.
And so tell us about what you had found last night about the 6 people who had passed.
When this study started, 6 people in the Pfizer late-stage trial died And they were trying to make it look like, as I was reading it, they were trying to make it look like these people already had pre-existing issues and allergies. But when you dug deeper, the people who are chosen for these studies are the healthiest of the healthiest. And they literally, one thing they said was fascinating about this, that you needed to be, they wanted everybody to be warned if they have any allergies now, they should not be taking this vaccine all of a sudden because these 6 people died. But they also said that it's really important that you are in a hospital when you get this so that you can be resuscitated. But just remember, the vaccine is safe and effective.
Right. Okay. Patty, Kenny, did you have a thought?
I do, actually, because there is a German epidemiologist who he has raised a lot of concerns. And he actually wrote to the government in Europe, and he's put forth a petition requesting that they study this and test it more before they put it out in the public. And here are his 4 major concerns with the COVID vaccine. The number one is the fact that they've found that when people are exposed to an RNA vaccine, that when they come in contact with the actual virus, it creates such a reaction that often it is death. And so he is so concerned that this hasn't been studied properly. The other is that it's changing some of the proteins in the body, and they're finding that this protein, one specifically, that it's the one that helps create the placenta when you're pregnant. And so he is very concerned that this is going to create a huge amount of infertility in women. And the other is that there's no long-term effect study that's been done, and we don't know how this is really going to impact us over the long term.
Sure. And then, of course, we have Joy was blaming Trump for all of this. So if we could skip to the very last video clip of this, I just want you to see this.
The thing about Trump, and to Sonny's point, is that the thing about Trump, that to the point, is that the taxpayer had paid $100,000 for his Regeneron or whatever the heck he got. He's the reason that we have this widespread chaos and this widespread COVID all over the country.
See, now, I thought COVID came from China.
Yeah.
I just did.
I thought the same thing.
Everything
Can I
I
also
read.
say, she said it cost him $100,000 for his treatment. Maybe she forgot he donates $400,000 a year. He doesn't take a salary.
That's
as the
true.
president.
Excellent point.
you know.
Excellent point on that.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing is this is what China had done. Now this, you can say it's a conspiracy theory or not, but China has an overpopulation problem. So how can they control their population? Let's get rid of the elderly. Why do you think this vaccine only affects the elderly, or it affects them at a higher rate? Why do healthy people survive this? And there's a lot of healthy elderly. I have a friend who has COPD. He survived it. So I'm not saying all the elderly, but it just seems like it is worse for the elderly, not too much for side effects for young children, not too much for middle-aged adults. It is affecting the elderly. And again, many have said that it's because China is trying to get rid of their elderly population so they don't have to take care of them. We have Christianity in our nation, so people will, hopefully still turn to God and won't allow that type of stuff to happen in our own country. So we're going to talk more after this break on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Hi, I'm Dennis Hogan. along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
For the greatest selection and full menu offering is the Four Seasons Restaurant and Ice Cream Parlor in Garrison. Succulent sandwiches, big breakfasts served all day, and delicious desserts. Easy access in and out for campers and RVs. The Four Seasons Restaurant at the top of Main Street, Garrison.
Are you a thrill seeker, sightseer, or day tripper? The Ford Bronco Sport SUV is built for you. Four Bears Casino is giving away a 2021 Ford Bronco Sport loaded with a ton of interior space, safari-style roof, smooth suspension for any terrain, and easy-to-clean surfaces. Qualify now just by playing your favorite slots at Four Bears Casino. Double points on Sundays. Also get in on Super Senior Wednesdays, slot turning Thursdays, and hot seats on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Spin into Four Bears Casino and Lodge for chances to win.
Some things in life are hard. That's why banking shouldn't be. Cornerstone Bank.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We just wanted to follow up a little bit more on that first segment about the vaccines, and there's so much information, but Patty wanted to share a little bit.
I wanted to say, because there was we talked a lot about the vaccination, but I want to talk about the treatment that both Trump and Rudy Giuliani received, because there was a lot of complaints, like why did he get to see it, get to have treatment? Everybody else has to wait for this treatment. Well, the treatment, remdesivir, but they said it was a cocktail of other drugs too, but the remdesivir, the World Health Organization had done a study of 11,000 people, and they said, well, it's not really effective in the treatment of COVID. So we're hearing it every which way, but the FDA did approve it. It's the only approved drug for treating COVID patients. There's other things I suppose you can take, and they did give them some other things. But it's like, man, they're complaining. First of all, why aren't they putting more energy into treatment and just focusing on the vaccines, although we don't know what's going on behind the scenes with the drug companies. But we do know they're complaining loud and clear that Giuliani got this treatment when there's all these other people. The simple people are not getting this treatment. And they complained, you know, that Trump's treatment cost $100,000. Who knows? Because, I don't know, did they get the receipt? But we do have to point out that he does donate his salary.
Could I say something about this? Because I'm seeing this from a completely different viewpoint.
Yeah, quickly, because we have another segment.
Quickly, most people don't know that 80% of pharmaceutical funding goes to the media. So The View, their funding comes from the pharmaceutical industry. This is a new way to market drugs and vaccines. Do you notice all the commercials for the pharmaceutical industry, and they're pushing this drug? It's a very clever way to push drugs and vaccines.
Absolutely, I hear you. Well, we want to talk a little bit about Congressman Katie Porter. She's a Democrat out of California. And she talked about the millions of dollars that are going back into the Treasury, and very disappointed that this was happening. So let's see a quick little clip on this.
What's holding up real relief in Americans' pockets? What's holding up money to help put food on the table, to help families make ends meet? It's Mitch McConnell trying to take away the right of workers to sue if their employer puts them knowingly, recklessly in harm's way. So even as they're trying to take away the rights of ordinary people, workers and patients, to use the legal system, they're out there abusing it in election lawsuits. And that's hypocrisy. And I don't think the American people should stand for it. But it's really, really important that people do believe that the vaccine is safe and effective. And the responsibility is on the government to demonstrate that to people. And the lack of credibility that Trump has created about his ability to handle this crisis makes that a challenge. So I think this is one of the reasons that leaving Dr. Fauci in power, making sure that scientists can speak up, making sure that we have an open and transparent FDA approval process, so people who have questions about the vaccine are getting answers, so that we understand, for example, that we have more information about the safety and effectiveness of the vaccine for adults than we do about children right now. But
so what is so alarming about that part is they want to make sure that they can't be sued. Well, isn't that exactly what the pharmaceutical company is doing right now? They have disclaimers that they can't be sued. So I guess, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? That's the part that's frustrating. And I know Renee has something to say about this one.
I don't get paid enough for this job to watch The View every day. True. Those people are driving me crazy. One thing that is so amazing is most people know in California, they've literally locked down that state. They've taken away the rights. It's like communism, full-blown communism in that state. People are losing their jobs, their families. I mean, it's a nightmare there. Anyway, she talks about, we need this money, we need this money. Well, you are the people who have destroyed people's lives. And then here you're talking about, we can't get this money. It's just unbelievable. And then, of course, if you noticed, they keep putting in safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective. Listen to the science, listen to the science. That's definitely there for a reason.
Right, absolutely. Thanks, Renee. You know, I'm going to toss this over to Kendi right now because there's some other news that's really sad, but you have not heard about on mainstream media. And I'm gonna let Kendi share this, and then we're going to watch a quick review.
So actually, I think that the congressman has set this up perfectly by sharing with us that as American people, we deserve to know if vaccines are safe and effective. This last week, Brandy Vaughn, who was a woman who was very passionate about educating Americans about vaccines, died. She was in her 40s, and her 9-year-old son found her dead. There is rumor that this was not accidental, that foul play was involved. I want you to watch this and to consider your views and to just pay tribute to this woman who gave so much and in the end gave her life.
Here is just a little video we're dedicating to Brandy Vaughn.
Our vaccine system in the U.S. is broken, and we cannot mandate something when there are so many unanswered questions.
Thank you for being the voice for those who cannot speak, for our children, for the babies, for all of those that don't even understand why it's so important that we have a choice.
Just because things are on the market does not mean they are safe. I think we get into a very dangerous territory with vaccinations.
We need to ask these difficult questions. And until we have more information, we absolutely cannot mandate vaccines. There has to be a choice.
If a drug company gets just one vaccine added to the schedule, they can make upwards of $30 billion in 1 year.
Right now, we are seeing an entire generation of children being poisoned by toxic additives in these vaccines.
Vaccines are not for public health. It's really about profit.
I keep saying this is a worldwide phenomenon.
Exactly,
right?
And we are reaching people and we are growing. Don't let them, tell you we're not.
More and more people are waking up, and you should never apologize for being ahead of your time. Be proud, stand strong.
Wow.
So sad. And Renee, you knew her personally, didn't you?
I knew Brandy. She's fought in, I've been fighting this fight for 38 years and trying to educate people on vaccines. And there are over 80 physicians and medical experts who have mysteriously died in the last few years.
It's almost like the Clinton body bags that they talk about.
Yeah. And she actually wrote a letter warning people that she felt like she was in danger and what to do. She said, I'm not suicidal. And she gave people very specific instructions on what to do if she was found dead. She worked for the pharmaceutical industry. She was an insider. And she participated in, I can't remember what drug it was where millions of people died. She actually was a part of that. And that's what made her start researching this whole thing and kind of woke her up. And she was a force. And I can imagine that the pharmaceutical industry, you can't do this. It's dangerous to speak out.
Yes. And I have to ask the question that if there is a cure for something, how will they make money? And so there is no magic bullet with vaccines, with medication. The system, I believe, is designed on keeping us sick.
And that is the sad part about it. You know, we're just trying to question things because not everything is as it seems. Patty, do you have just a parting thought on this?
I just want to say, you know, we can have a lot of examples. You know, I had X-ray treatment for acne when I was in high school, and then I asked the doctor and the nurse, oh no, it's fine. And then a few years later, it was outlawed. And I talked to a doctor who I said the 70s, everybody knew it was bad for you. You have a high rate of thyroid cancer from that. And I thought, you know, the older you get and the more experiences you have in your friends, it's just about questioning and taking a look at. And you know, it sounds like, I didn't know Brandy, but it sounds like she just wanted people to be informed and not to have things mandated. I think that's the key, is let people make their own choices. If these things get mandated, it's going to be really scary.
Right. You know, we have so much more to talk about. In our next segment, we're going to visit with Dr. Brooke Miller. He's going to talk a little bit about our immune system, and then we're going to fast forward into COVID shaming. It's a very curious story. We'll be right back after these messages on Ladies of Another View on Back.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
In southwestern and south central North Dakota, on any given day at any given moment, a Dakota Community Bank and Trust customer is logging in or signing on to do their online or mobile banking. We believe that community banking can blend both the past with down-home customer service in-house and the future with modern banking conveniences and technology for our customers anywhere, like here or here, all while honoring our long-standing tradition of community-first oriented banking here at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
My wife was diagnosed with early stage Alzheimer's. We talked about it and we kind of decided we'd be a little bit proactive and try to start making provisions. So we started looking here, and Eventide worked out to be pretty much the perfect answer. I guess I didn't expect it to be so nice. The staff here are terrific. We enjoy it.
They say when the going gets tough, the tough get going. At OK Tire, we're here to keep you going. From Firestone tires and replacements to retreads and even Firestone tracks, we have you covered. Our certified Firestone experts are ready to get you back up and running, no matter if you're on site or in the field, saving you time and money. OK Tire, we keep the tough going.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Kohler Samurai and the innovative BRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Hi, welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. For this segment, we're going to be joined by Dr. Brooke Miller. Now, Dr. Brooke Miller lives out in Virginia, just south of DC, and I got to actually know him through United States Cattlemen's Association. And he's a cowboy, he's a doctor, and he can do it all. So, Dr. Brooke, are you there? There he is. Absolutely. Hey, Dr. Miller, why don't you first tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for having me on. It's my pleasure. I'm a board-certified family physician and also a cattle rancher in Washington, Virginia. I went to college at Virginia Tech and received my Bachelor of Science in Biology, graduated magna cum laude and also Phi Beta Kappa. From there, I went to University of Virginia School of Medicine and received my medical degree, followed by a 3-year internship and residency in family medicine at the Medical College of Virginia.
Well, that's perfect. It sounds like we got the right guy on here anyway. So just tell us a little bit about our immune system. I know you're gonna have to give us a Cliff Note version, but just tell us how the immune system works.
Well, the immune system is a rather complex collection of biologic processes that basically protect us against pathogens and disease. It has to be able to distinguish between what is foreign and what is not. It really is a rather complex interdependent system of cells that work collectively. Probably the biggest, the most important part of our immune system nobody even realizes is our skin. It presents an impermeable barrier to pathogens and disease, and also secretes antibacterial substances and whatnot that keeps us healthy. Usually, pathogens enter our body via our mucous membranes, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the mucous membranes also have a barrier of defense. They secrete mucus and lysozymes or enzymes that are antibacterial, antiviral. But when all this is overwhelmed, then these pathogens are exposed to other systems. There are other fail-safes that can keep us healthy. Anything from T cells, the lymphatic system, B cells, which produce antibodies, and in response to pathogens and whatnot. It's a pretty complex system, and it is also very dependent upon our neurohormonal well-being as well. And
sure. Hey, Brooke, you know, Candy has a really quick question.
As far as our neurohormonal well-being and these lockdowns.
Sure, and that's good information. But Candy had a quick question about something you mentioned.
Well, it's just regarding the immune system. You know, as you're giving a lot of information in regards to it, I'm thinking a lot of the viewers are curious as to what can we do to actually create a strong immune system?
That's a great question, and I preach this all the time. The basics for our immune system are basically healthy living. We make sure that we get 8 hours of rest at night. We make sure that we have a healthy whole food diet that is void of processed food. Processed food has a lot of junk in it that is very harmful to our body. And then the other thing is to exercise on a regular basis. And those things are pretty much the basics of keeping a healthy immune system. It's interesting that you asked this because of the things that are really make are high risk factors for COVID infections and other infections in general are vitamin D. Over 80% of the people that die from COVID infections are vitamin D deficient. And interestingly, I found out through my research this past spring, high fructose corn syrup, which is in just about all processed food, inhibits absorption and metabolism of vitamin D. So actually harming our immune system, and big food is serving it in mega doses.
And we know that that's in absolutely everything. It really is. Renee, I see a question burning.
Oh boy, we need to have you on like a lot more. I can see this already. Is this driving you crazy? You know, what I see is just everybody's doing the opposite of what we should be doing to build our immune system, between masks, which is going to suppress your immune system, using all these toxic hand sanitizers, staying in your house, not getting enough sunshine. I mean, the stress alone of this hysteria of this COVID vaccine, or not that too, but this hysteria of, you know, this virus. Does this just drive you crazy watching this, as it does me?
Yeah, absolutely. I as Mary knows, I'm pretty outspoken, and I catch a lot of flack from a lot of people that have no basis in science at all. And the biggest thing that drives me crazy is these people that have no background in medicine and science are basically chastising me for my thoughts and my views on the immune system and lockdowns and all the above. And it's mind-boggling. It really is.
So then, Dr. Miller, tell us what the hand sanitizers actually do. They're actually killing good germs just as much as they're killing bad germs, right?
Oh, absolutely. They select for super germs, I think. Germs that are resistant to a certain hand sanitizer. Our body has bacteria filled in it and out it, and a lot of these bacteria are very helpful to us and keep pathogenic bacteria at bay. You know, one of the side effects of treating people with antibiotics is an overgrowth of a bacteria called Clostridium difficile, and it causes a terrible diarrhea and an infection in the gastrointestinal system. And it's just a perfect example of how we have so many bacteria in our body that are helpful at preventing disease and helpful in digestion and helping in absorption. And using all these hand sanitizers, sanitizing our environment. There's something called the innate immune system, and the innate immune system is just like anything else. In order for it to be working on all cylinders, it must be constantly stimulated. And if we are living in a sterile environment, we're not stimulating our innate immune system, and it is, you know, it can be pretty bad.
Sure. You know, there's something that I always remember as a kid, and maybe you do too, licking, and this is so gross, but when you're in church, licking the front church pew, you're kneeling or standing, and I can just remember the taste of a church pew.
Oh.
I know that's gross.
No, Mary.
It's gross, but I was building my immune system. I guess.
Yes.
Patty, I know we have about 30 seconds left of this segment. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you're seeing the fact that with the lockdowns and people staying away from each other, what do you think the consequences is that going to be? Are we going to have a weakened immune system for like flus and colds and all that other stuff down the road, do you think?
I didn't quite hear your question completely, but I think you said what is the result of people staying away from one another? Is that correct?
Right. Long term, are we going to be more susceptible to colds and flu because our immune system isn't getting the workout it normally does with natural living?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
We're going to have to. I'm sorry to cut you off. Anyway, we're going to go to a break right now, and then we're going to go ahead and we'll pick up where we left off. You're watching Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Thank you. I don't know why I can't.
Howdy, folks. It's the Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Boston breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon rattling pie with a cum roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
For the greatest selection and full menu offering, it's the Four Seasons Restaurant and Ice Cream Parlor in Garrison. Succulent sandwiches, big breakfasts served all day, and delicious desserts. Easy access in and out for campers and RVs. The Four Seasons Restaurant at the top of Main Street, Garrison.
Are you a thrill seeker, sightseer, or day tripper? The Ford Bronco Sport SUV is built for you. Four Bears Casino is giving away a 2021 Ford Bronco Sport loaded with a ton of interior space, safari-style roof, smooth suspension for any terrain, and easy-to-clean surfaces. Qualify now just by playing your favorite slots at Four Bears Casino. Double points on Sundays. Also get in on Super Senior Wednesdays, slot turning Thursdays, and hot seats on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Spin into Four Bears Casino and Lodge for chances to win.
Some things in life are hard. That's why banking shouldn't be. Cornerstone Bank.
Hi, welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. Before the break, we were talking to Dr. Brooke Miller from Washington, Virginia. And just quickly, before we move on, tell us what happens when we stay indoors too much, not introduce ourselves to other people.
Well, as you know, Mary, you're a great example of this. People are social, and people need social interaction. And to remove social interaction, it causes a lot of neurohormonal changes in our body. One thing that goes up is cortisol or stress hormones. And stress hormones or cortisol actually suppress the immune system and prevent it from working properly. So people that are under a lot of stress are at higher risk for dying from all-cause mortality, including infectious diseases, heart disease, stroke, cancer, and whatnot. And keeping people away from one another is only harming our neurohormonal system that helps stimulate or helps keep our immune system in good working order.
Sure, and you and I have personally sat back and laughed a lot. And I know endorphins from laughing are supposed to be good for you. I'm assuming that is the case. So anyway, what are your thoughts on COVID specifically, and who does it most adversely affect?
Who's at risk for it? Is that what you asked me?
Who does it most adversely affect? Who does for COVID?
The risk factors are the high-risk population is well documented. Number one is age, and that's one thing we cannot do anything about. According to CDC stats, for people over age 75 that get this disease, I think this is probably high it has a 5% mortality or 95% survivability. And people under age 70, it has a 99.95% survivability. So age is the number one risk factor for having an adverse effect or an adverse outcome. The other risk factors are well documented, and that includes obesity, diabetes, and active cardiovascular disease. So that gets back to our diet and exercise program. I've said for a long time that we should be promoting health and wellness and not fear and shame. And by promoting a proper diet and exercise program, we can go a long ways to reducing each individual's risk for dying from this awful disease, this awful infection.
I love hearing you talk about diet. I think it's so important myself too. You know, I'm just wondering, with everything that's been going on, what would you say is going to be the collateral damage from the messaging with the media and just this huge push to stay isolated, to mask up, use excessive amounts of hand sanitizer? What do you see as being the greatest damage to us as a society?
Oh, it's damaged us in so many ways. Third world countries people are dying from starvation due to these lockdowns. So that's the biggest one. The biggest impact is 150 million people are at risk for starvation. It is, the CDC has also put out statistics that 1 in 4 young Americans or young adults have considered suicide since the onset of these lockdowns. We have seen a tremendous reduction in early diagnosis and detection of cancer and heart disease. And it's well documented that outside of hospital, cardiac arrests have gone up dramatically. I know I've had several patients that I've talked to that said they had chest pain and they were too afraid to go to the hospital because they were afraid that they would catch COVID, and they stayed home and waited it out. Now, thankfully, they did not have heart disease, but I'm sure there are people who do have heart disease that don't ever go to the hospital and die outside the hospital. Mammogram screening has been dramatically reduced. Colon cancer screening has been dramatically reduced, and also cancer treatment. They put a lot of people on cancer treatment holds. So it's the collateral damage from these lockdowns has been tremendous and will continue to be tremendous. You know, the thing I hear all the time is they talk about we're shamed into thinking about outpatient alternatives for treatment of COVID-19, and they all talk about no randomized control studies and this and whatnot, but there are no randomized control studies that show that lockdowns actually do any good at all.
Interesting. You know, okay, we know that you were the result of a little bit of COVID shaming. Let's talk about that for just a moment. Producer, if you can pop up the one Facebook post that we had. Okay, this is from Jay Miller. It says, we have a local doctor and his nurse wife that does or did not follow proper health protocols because it encroaches on their freedom of choice. Now he and his whole family is infected as a result of a Thanksgiving family gathering with his brother. Consequently, his freedom of choice puts all of our lives at risk and at odds with the Hippocratic oath of do no harm. When he said he's doing tremendous harm, or when he is doing tremendous harm to us all, denying COVID. And because of their personal beliefs, have a high single-handedly double Rappahannock County's infection rate per 100,000. Now, tell me a little bit about this, and I apologize for messing up your county's name.
Well, our family got together over Thanksgiving, and somebody was obviously positive, and as a result of that, we had several family members come down with the illness and test positive. Just about everybody tested positive, but thankfully I was out of the office and did not expose any patients. I have blocked this individual and cannot see them on my social media, but someone sent a picture of that to me on Sunday morning and just wanted me to know I was out there, and I sort of ignored it and didn't really think about it until I got a message from the local newspaper saying that they'd been getting a lot of calls about my wife and I being infected with coronavirus. And I knew this was out there. And so I called them back to try to reassure them that we had not exposed anybody outside of our family. And they proceeded to invade my privacy and publish it in the paper along with this quote that was put in anonymously. I will say that the only time I've seen this person who made this quote in the last year has been in a court of law when a judge issued a restraining order against him.
And so it's just a coincidence that you have the same last name?
No, and then apparently there was a shark feeding frenzy on Facebook regarding me, and I don't know about my wife. I really didn't read it, and I didn't want to read it, but I was heartened by the number of people that reached out to me and that defended me and defended my integrity. So, but I'm very disappointed that the paper would basically be use the paper to try to smear my reputation and harm my name and basically reduce people's faith in me as their doctor, which I don't think it did. I think there was a lot of negative backlash against the paper, to be quite honest, and I just tried to leave it alone. But we have had a lot of good, positive comments for people reaching out to us, and we're very thankful for that.
So, and that brings it to a whole new level. Well, first of all, I was going to say, to me, there could be a libel lawsuit or maybe a HIPAA violation of some type, that type of information is getting out there. But that brings it to another level about like face mask shaming or COVID shaming. I mean, people that come down with COVID, they don't necessarily know where it came from. It can be anywhere and anyone can catch it. Do you have just a comment on that? Like, as far as the transmittability?
The feeling that you're a bad person, you've done something wrong if you come down with the disease is absolutely ludicrous. And that's what this COVID shaming is all about. And there are actually people that are refusing to get tested and refusing to go because they don't want anybody to know, one, that they have COVID shaming. But two, the other thing is if they have a sick member of the family and they're hospitalized, they can't see family members and these elderly people are dying alone. And that's just absolutely horrible, absolutely horrible. And, my daughter actually did a Instagram video chronicling her experience with COVID-19 because she was, she's in the family and she wasn't with us for Thanksgiving, but came home and she was exposed to Ann and myself. And so she and her husband and child caught it too. But I think she had a lot of comments. A lot of people really thanked her for coming out and telling them what it was all about, and because everybody is so afraid. They think this illness is a death sentence, and it just is not.
Right.
And,
right.
Brooke, I was very happy that she came out and did this video.
Sure, and we could talk to you forever, but unfortunately we are out of time. But please tell us you'll come back and see us again.
Yes.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Absolutely. We'll be right back after these messages on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Howdy folks, it's the County Line Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Bossin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous County Line burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon rattling pie with a comb roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
My wife was diagnosed with early stage Alzheimer's. We talked about it and we kind of decided we'd be a little bit proactive and try to start making provisions. So we started looking here, and Eventide worked out to be pretty much the perfect answer. I guess I didn't expect it to be so nice. The staff here are terrific. We enjoy it.
They say when the going gets tough, the tough get going. At OK Tire, we're here to keep you going. From Firestone tires and replacements to retreads and even Firestone tracks, we have you covered. Our certified Firestone experts are ready to get you back up and running, no matter if you're on site or in the field, saving you time and money. OK Tire, we keep the tough going.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Kohler Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best-built, best-backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Hi, welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, where you get real news from real people. I'm so excited this week because it's the NFR, right? We did not get to go to Vegas. It is actually being held in Texas this year because everything's bigger in Texas, including the arena. So anyway, I just wanted to show you this cute little clip of a dad teaching his kid how to rodeo. So this is a real live dad. Isn't that adorable?
That is so adorable. Oh my gosh, that
is
kid.
adorable.
Oh.
And when you watch that, he's actually in the rhythm. He looks like a real bronc rider, or saddle bronc, or excuse me, bareback, or it could be a bull rider. But is that not just precious?
That is awesome. We used to do something like that when my kids were little, and we would call it cowboy rodeo, I think.
Oh,
yeah,
for fun. Do you have any video of it?
Yeah.
We'll have to bring that with.
And it's a good workout, right?
And it's an excellent workout. So anyway, this year the NFR did move to Texas, and that was because Vegas didn't want to have it. And so now the rodeo athletes are so excited because Texas, there is more room. People are not bumping into each other. Horses aren't running into each other. The barrel horses aren't running into the walls. They're not tipping the barrels. So it's been pretty fabulous. I want to show you a clip right here from a local boy. I shouldn't say boy, young man from Carrington, North Dakota. He is in the steer wrestling competition. And here's, he won the buckle on the second go Tuesday night. So let's take a look at Bridger. So that right there is Bridger Anderson. My girls used to rodeo with him. He is down there with his family right now, and they are having a blast. But he is a rookie, and so for a rookie to win a buckle the second night, that's some pretty good stuff. He's a fantastic cowboy. Have you guys any experience in the rodeo world or Western world?
Yeehaw! That's about it for me.
I've gone to a couple. It's fun. It's fun. I love horses, and when I was a little girl, we'd go horseback riding once in a while. But I'm not a rodeo person, but I love, like, if you go to the rodeo, it's fun.
Yeah.
I've done, my memory of rodeo is my grandfather took me when I was very young, and it was funny because I look back at that and he just kind of abandoned me. He just took off, and I was like, what did he do with me?
You know, that is, grandpas will do that. Grandpas will definitely do that at a rodeo.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to show you a picture of Bridger, just a shot of him. I think we had a photo, and then a photo of his family. I just want to show you that it is a family event. So anyway, I guess we're having trouble with that technical difficulty there. But anyway, they're a fantastic family from the Carrington area. They've been down there over a week now working on this. But it's just so interesting when you look at the rodeo history in North Dakota. Mandan, North Dakota has one of the biggest, or it used to be the biggest rodeo. They said that it was how do I put this? It was the first rodeo, even before, Prescott, Arizona claims to have the very first rodeo, organized rodeo in the United States back in the 1800s, but there's evidence that Mandan had a rodeo before the Prescott, Arizona rodeo, and there's been a lot of history up here.
That's awesome.
For that. So, but anyway, we're going to have to get into our final thoughts right now. Kendi, do you have some final thoughts?
Just going along with the rodeo theme, I'm thinking of the lady who carried the flag at the Texas rodeo. I'm not sure if you know who that is. It's Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota. They wanted a true lady and a patriot to do that. And so I'm so proud of her, and I'm grateful for the example that she set. And as women, we can set a good example for those around us.
Well, my final thought, and I wish we had her for our governor, personally. She is amazing. Dr. Miller, that's my final thought. That was amazing. I'm honored to have him on. And it brought this thought to my mind, and I wanted to ask him, but I never got to ask him. There's something called the Barrington Declaration. It's signed by 36,000 scientists, Nobel laureates, physicians from all over the world, and it's been completely censored by the media. And they're all saying no masks, no lockdowns, relax, go back to living. Completely censored globally by the media. And if we have him on, I want to ask him about that. Patty?
Yes, well, you know what? I'm going to say for my final thought that on Monday we're going to have Zuzu from It's a Wonderful Life on. Carolyn Grimes is an actress. And so getting into the Christmas spirit, only 2 weeks left now to Christmas. So I guess we better check our list twice and see where we're at and get ready.
Oh, for fun. Well, my final thoughts. I had one of those mommy moments yesterday. I was actually here, and my daughter texted me. She said, I just finished my last class. Sorry. Anyway, she's graduating a semester early at UND. She's going on to be a chiropractor. She's going over to Iowa. Yay. But it's one of those, you think of the first moments and the last moments.
Wow.
And now I'm having a moment. But anyway, join us tomorrow Monday, when we get to visit with Zuzu. And we thank you for joining us today right here on Ladies of Another View on Beck.